Hi everyone, this is Lovelin Johnson, and today we are going to be looking at the 16 undeniable laws of communication. And the law we are going to be talking about is the law of simplicity. I promise you, you are going to walk away with tips that you could apply today, right away, and your communication is going to be better because of this particular law. I got so much value out of this law, and I believe that it's going to add great value for you too. I would like to start with a funny story, and just to keep the essence of it, I'm going to read the story for you. A man in a hot air balloon realized he was lost. He reduced altitude and spotted a woman below. He descended a bit more and shouted, "Excuse me, can you help me? I promised a friend I would meet him an hour ago, but I don't know where I am." The woman below replied, "You are in a hot air balloon, hovering approximately 30 feet above the ground. You're between 40 and 41 degrees north latitude and between 59 and 60 degrees west longitude." "You must be an engineer," said the balloonist. "I am," replied the woman. "How did you know that?" The man says, "Well, everything you told me is technically correct, but I have no idea what to make of your information. And the fact is, I'm still lost. Frankly, you have not been much of a help at all. If anything, you've delayed my trip." The woman below responded, "You must be in management." "I am," replied the man, and he said, "How did you know that?" The woman responded, "You don't know where you are, and you don't know where you are going. You have risen to where you are due to a large quantity of hot air. You made a promise which you have no idea how to keep it, and you expect people beneath you to solve your problems. The fact is, you are in exactly the same position before I even met you. But somehow you've managed to make it my fault." Think about how crazy that story is. Often, this is how we talk. We are engineers, so we have such technical jargons, and we talk back with that language. And then, as a manager, he couldn't articulate what his true need was. And because of that, it was such a broken communication. How do we communicate? The law of simplicity is such a powerful law because it states that communicators take something complicated and make it simple. There are three levels of communication. The first level is simplistic communication. It's often shallow and fast. The second level of communication is complex communication. It is deep and slow. The third level of communication, which is what we aspire to be, is simple communication. It is deep and fast. So let's talk about simplistic communication. Oftentimes, I would look at a complex problem and will completely simplify it without thinking it through. If a team is struggling, let's assume someone else raise their hands and says, "If I am the leader, this team would not be truly struggling." Is that a true statement? How much of thought has happened in that statement? Because the challenges of communication is going to be there. Instead of saying, "This is how I will solve the problem," you're thinking you are the solution. Often we talk in simplistic terms because it's very fast. We are saying, "Oh, this is going to fix everything. If only we do this, all of world problems is going to end." And that's simplistic talk because it has not put enough thought about the real issue, and it gives quick solutions. And we want to move away from simplistic, and we have to move to the next level, which is complex communication. So what is complex communication? It sounds crazy, but this is where a lot of questions are asked. Think about a scientist. They are trying to understand something. They keep asking questions to get to the bottom of it, and finally they understand what it truly means. And then they have this eureka moment. I solved it. Because they have spent a lot of thought into that particular problem, and they have found a solution. The only issue with complex communication is they then take this complex thought and speak in complex terms. And that separates you from them. You are not able to communicate with them because it's all complex and a layman is unable to understand it. Now let's talk about simple communication. Simple communication is deep and fast. They take something complex and put it in layman's terms. They give you answers in a way that you could understand instead of complicating things. So technically, they take this complex product and simplify it so everyone around can understand and make good use of it. Whenever I think of simple, I often think of Steve Jobs. He does a fabulous job. Instead of saying this particular iPod could hold this much of data, he says it can hold 1,000 songs. Now suddenly he's speaking to everyone what good it is to talk about the processor and all the complex things that go behind the scenes. Instead, he said something so simple that we can right away see value in that particular product. I like what Einstein says. If you can't explain it simply, then you have not truly understood it. If someone is poking holes and asking you questions, can you dumb it down? Can you speak in layman's term? Can you speak in an 8th grader level so they could understand? Or are you going to hold on to those technical jargons and keep speaking complex? There are 3 pillars of communication: clarity, brevity, and intensity. Let's talk about clarity. Whenever you communicate something, keep it very simple so the regular person could understand what you're saying. The test you could have is, can an 8th grader understand what I'm saying? When you can communicate clearly to an 8th grader and they can take that message and convey it to their friends, you have clearly communicated your message. That's clarity. Keep it simple. I like how the book says, make sure that your communication is at the bottom shelf so everyone can access it. That's how you communicate clearly. Number 2, brevity. Think about short and sweet. Woodrow Wilson said it so beautifully. If I have to give a 30-minute speech, I need 1 week to prepare. If I have to give a 10-minute speech, I need 2 weeks to prepare. If I have unlimited time, I'm ready now. Think about how powerful that statement is. When you want to speak with clarity, with brevity, you need more time. You need to put in the effort, and that will reap rewards. Brevity, it's not about the number of words you say, it's about the impact your words could have. Number 3, intensity. This is where we talk about laser focus. What could a laser do? It could cut through diamonds. It could cut through hard things. And that's what intensity could do. When you focus on not 10 things that you want the audience to go away with, but with one message. What do you want that one message for your audience when they walk away? And when they have clarity on that one message, you have communicated well. So what do I expect from this message today? That you would walk away with knowing how to communicate. Am I speaking at the 8th grade level so everyone can understand? Can the 8th grade person respond back and explain the same principle to someone else? That's clarity and understanding about brevity, not using long and complex words, but using simple words and keeping it short and simple. That's brevity. And also remembering the intensity of it. Keep it condensed, keep it right to the point. That's why TED Talks are 18 minutes long. They could give 1 hour, 2 hour long messages, but they have to condense and trim, subtract all the things that is not needed and only speak about the essence and the top thing about the message. So keep that in mind. Keep it so focused that you speak about that one message. I would like to give you the communication checklist that you could keep in front of you when you prepare a message, when you want to deliver a message. Less is more. So remove all the non-essentials. Less is more. Clarity is power. When you are able to clearly articulate it and people can understand it better. Clarity is power. Clear is kind. Being clear is kind. Instead of throwing all your crazy ideas coming from all directions, when you take a step back and think about what you're trying to say and say it clearly, that is good, because then the person on the receiving side can truly appreciate your message. Stop trying to impress. What do I mean by that? Often we use complex words just to look very sophisticated. Keep it simple, because that makes it more impactful than complex wording. The next one is get to your point. What is the point? Mention the point right away and then go into all the details. Don't let the person who's listening think about what is the main point they are trying to say. Get to the point. And the last one is repeat what you're saying. We learn through repetition. So the more they hear that principle mentioned over and over again, they would walk away with a clear idea of what you spoke about. If today's message is about clarity, brevity, and intensity. So be clear, keep it as an 8th grade level and keep it simple. Keep the message short and don't have more than one point when you're trying to convey your message. So the law of simplicity is communicators take something complex and make it simple. I hope you found this lesson helpful. Next week, we are going to be looking at the law of visual expression. I hope to see you there.